Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Roberts, and welcome back to episode number 12 of the New Orleans Pelicans MyLeague series here on NBA 2K20. Today we wrap up the month of December and we take a look back at what's happened, and our Pelicans seem to be trending in the wrong direction after the last time we checked, as they sit at 12-24, including going an atrocious 4-11 in the month of December. So obviously that includes an 11-game win streak, or losing streak, so at least after those 11 games we won the other ones. Last time we checked, we lost to the Portland Trailblazers by 31. In the meantime, we simulated a game against the Nuggets, so we're just going to go back and check on a couple of these. We dropped this one of 111 to 109, including losing out in the fourth quarter. Got outscored by 12 points, ended up dropping this one. Gary Harris and Nikola Jokic leading the way for the Nuggets, while we were led by Brandon Ingram and Drew Holiday dropping 20 points apiece. Zion Williamson had a double-double for us. Zion only put up 12 points, didn't shoot over 50% in this game, went 0 for 4 from the three-point line, so a couple of mishaps there. Thankfully, we were able to end our losing streak in the next game as we beat the Pacers 111 to 94, including a nice 33-31, 64-point second half. We were led by Zion Williamson, who ended up dropping 30 in this game and had 14 rebounds, while the Pacers were led by Miles Turner with 22. So after that, we had a back-to-back, and we were able to knock off the Rockets as well in a very surprising fashion. The Rockets, one of the best teams in the West, led by, once again, Zion Williamson, 38 points, only missed 3 shots, including 1 3. And then another positive, he shot 80% for the free throw line, so it's good to see Zion shooting well. Oh, and Drew Holiday had 25 points, nothing, you got to mention that. Rockets, they were led by Russell Westbrook and James Harden. And what else is surprising? Russell Westbrook, 31 points, 9 rebounds. James Harden, 25. But it was good to be able to outscore the Rockets in this one and actually put up points instead of being on the opposite end. From there, we faced the dominant Lakers, and just like basically everybody else, we lost to the Lakers, 135-118. LeBron, 44 points, 10 rebounds. Anthony Davis, our former player, 24 points, 11 rebounds. Even Dwight Howard had 19, while we were led by Zion Williamson, who's been tearing it up in the league so far, 26 points, 9 rebounds. And then we also had Brandon Ingram, who put up 22 against his old team. So good to see Brandon Ingram getting some action. Alonzo Ball had another double-digit assist game with 10, so it's distributing the rock pretty well. And lastly, we beat the Kings, 118-105. Kings are a fringe playoff team, so it was good to get that win. They were led by Buddy Hield, who had 26, while we were led by Drew Holiday, who also had 26. Difference is we outscored them 32-17 in the fourth quarter, so it's good to see us coming back late in these games and taking the fourth quarter, something the Pelicans have struggled with, so it's good to be able to be on the other end of that. Next, we're going to go into the transactions. A lot of stuff has kind of started to happen in December. The season starts to roll on, things start to happen. We're going to start that off with a couple of coaches being fired. Wizards, they fire Scott Brooks. They're off to a very atrocious start. It's not really their fault, as they have been without John Wall and Bradley Beal for a lot of the season, so that's just kind of unlucky. But the Wizards are the worst team in the league. And the Memphis Grizzlies also fired their head coach, Taylor Jenkins. Nobody really expected the Grizzlies to do a lot. They do have young Ja Morant, obviously, but they're in rebuilding mode, so I guess they just want to start over the new coach. In their places, the Wizards have hired Michael Stoffer, while the Grizzlies have hired Jacob Underwood. Moving on to signings, and there's been our first re-signing in the league. Thunder re-signed power forward Danilo Gallinari to a 3-year, $37.53 million deal. He is staying around in Oklahoma City, so that's something to see. Good for them. Oklahoma City hasn't been, that much of a threat this year. They're still rebuilding, so getting that player for their future. And then we have had our first trade. The Bucks trade George Hill and Kyle Korver to the Pistons for Mike Kiliak and Tony Snell. Sorry if I butchered that name. Pistons are doing better than the Bucks this year, so it's kind of an interesting trade. It looks like it's been pretty fair for me. Obviously, the Pistons get a very good shooter in Kyle Korver, but he is getting earlier, so I think it's a pretty solid trade all around. Next thing we'll take a look at the award races. They have come out now, and right now we have MVP leading as Steph Curry. I don't know if I agree with that. Yes, he is averaging basically 40 points per game, which is an insane amount of points per game. But I really do think it probably should be Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is averaging 34.5 points and basically 14 rebounds. I mean, he is having a spectacular year, even doing better than last year, shooting over 30% from the three-point line. His field goal percentage has gone down, but I think Giannis is, in my opinion, the MVP candidate. Rookie of the Year is going to Ja Morant. Unfortunately, Zion's not up here because, he missed most of the season up to this point. Hopefully in the second half of the season he can get his name in there and take Rookie of the Year. But it looks like it has been Ja Morant. He has been kind of doing dirty for Grizzlies, averaging 16.8 points per game. RJ Barrett averaging 17.6, so it's good to see the number 2 and number 3 picks, making some progress. Sixth man of the year, Dennis Schroeder for OKC. He's averaging 25 points per game. That's pretty good for a sixth man. Best, I think, it's his best so far. And if he's getting a sixth man, he's not getting the best minutes. Look at that. If you look at his 36 per minute, he's almost doubled last year. So Dennis Schroeder might earn himself a starting job next year. Dwight Howard in Los Angeles and Serge doing pretty good as well. Defensive player of the year, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's averaging 2.1 blocks per game and 2.1 steals. We got long, rangy Giannis out there. He's going to get some blocks and he's going to get some steals. So it's good to see Giannis getting defensive player of the year in the running right now. Most improved, Terry Rozier. He's getting his chance to shine out in Charlotte. Charlotte's actually got the top 2, Terry Rozier and Malik Monk, so that's good for them. They're not very good this year, but they have a couple of players they can build on. Terry Rozier, obviously the big piece in that Kemba Walker sign and trade, so it's good to see them getting a little bit of return on their investment there. And that'll do it for the awards. Next thing we'll take a look at is the season awards. We kind of already looked at the players of the week, but we'll look at the players of the month. See, Giannis gets it again. LeBron James for the West. I do think Giannis should be the MVP, but there's still plenty of time for to change that. And we're going to take a rookie of the month. The former Duke Blue Devil teammates getting it. In the East, RJ Barrett, and in the West, Zion Williamson. So he's put in, a very good second half of December, and that earned himself Defensive Player of the Month. So maybe that can translate to Rookie of the Year. So we'll see what happens there. Take a look at the All-Star voting real quick. Not much surprise. Giannis, LeBron are captains. Steph Curry coming in 30. He's pretty close behind LeBron James for West. There's really no, standouts, like surprise names on there. It's mostly who would you expect. Zach LaVine in the East. That's kind of cool. He's doing a very good job for the Bulls. He's put up multiple 50-plus points per game or point games this season. Next thing we'll take a look at, we're going to go over to the team intel. We have been struggling, and our owner has decided that it's time to just kind of sell the team, just kind of give up the season. Even though we're sitting at 12-24, 12th in the conference, and we do have a lot of time to make up special design back. It looks like we're ready to blow this whole thing up. So last time we checked, we had JJ Redick on the trade block. We've added Derek Favors. Jahlil Okafor, I didn't really want to put him on the trade block, but if there's no chance he wants to come back, might be able to get something for him. Then the one other player that's on there is Etuan Moore. He's veteran. He's in that 30. And, he's shooting our best three-point shooter, but I'd like to get something for him if he's going to be a free agent. Not really going to touch on the other teams. The one big surprise I kind of do want to look is the Nuggets. Looks like they're trying to move on from Michael Porter Jr. That relationship has really soured. Usually when you're selling the team, you're not going to look out and look for a trade for a player, but Michael Porter Jr. is definitely somebody on my radar. But if you do go to Trade Finder for Michael Porter Jr., it looks like the Nuggets are not interested in anything we have at the moment, but we'll continue poking around, see if we can find a good offer for Michael Porter Jr. I would like to have him. The only thing is he is a shooting guard power forward. We do have Zion and Brandon Ingram there, so I'm not going to give up a ton for him, especially with his injury history, but I think he would be a pretty solid player. He is younger than Ingram, so Michael Porter Jr. is something to look out for. Maybe he gets traded to another team, so we'll keep an eye on that situation. Take a look at the standings now. League standings, we're sitting farther down in the West, 12-24. I think the Kings have the 8 seed, so we're 5 games back. Had a very lackluster month in December. A couple surprises we mentioned: the Grizzlies being the bottom of the West and the Washington Wizards in the bottom of the East, 4-31. Gosh, that's pretty bad. A couple of things I want to touch on is you see the Lakers are 35-1, so their winning streak did end. It ended at 30 games before they lost, so they did not break the record. But another team to look out for is the 76ers. They're 35-2, and they're on a 29-game win streak, so maybe they have a shot at the record. And if you go back to last season, they did end the season on a 1-game win streak, so technically their current streak is at 30, and they're currently 3 games off of the Lakers' 70s record of 33 straight wins. So now we got to take a look at the 76ers, as the 76ers and Lakers have dominated the league up to this point. So Sixers have yet to lose at home. Lakers have yet to lose on the road, so that'd be very interesting to see if they match up soon in Philly. Something would have to give, but not much of the same. Pistons to the second, Rockets, Clippers, Warriors. Good to see the Warriors still up there. A lot of the usual teams we'll see. We're going to see the Jazz next, see how we compare against the 7th seed, see how we compare against a team that's pushing for that playoff race. So we're going to see that matchup next. Take a look at the power rankings. NBA.com has us sitting at 26th. 2K Sports has us at 25th. And then Eric Bonish has us at 26. So the general consensus is that we are a bottom 5 team, which would look good for the draft, but we'd like to be a little better than bottom 5 in the league. League leaders will be next. League leaders, we're going to take a look at these. Steph Curry, obviously first in points, 39.9. Giannis, 34.5. We saw Damian Lillard last game, 33. He ended up putting more than 33 up against us. Rebounds per game, Andre Drummond at 15.8, followed by DeAndre Jordan. Giannis is the only center up there with 13.9. I mean, that's MVP to me, but we'll see what happens there. Assists, Rajon Rondo, 0.1 off of 10. Nobody's averaging double-digit assists per game. Chris Paul, the names we usually see out there. But if you look at 5, we got Lonzo Ball. So he is one of the top distributors in the league. 8.3 assists per game. It's solid if you like to see out of your point guard. You'd like to be able to see him dish the rock, but I like to see him score a little bit more than just 9.3 points per game. Steals per game, let's see. Chris Paul leads the way at 2.6. And blocks per game, Miles Turner with 2.7. So big man out in Indiana doing work. And let's going to take a look for this. We're going to take a look at our player stats, our own stats now. We are led by Zion Williamson, 23.2 points per game in his limited action. I mean, he's come in and kind of taken the league by storm and just kind of dominated. He is a slashing forward. I mean, I do see that. I think I haven't utilized him in the best as a post-up more. I just need to get him more out in space. Drew Holiday's 19.7 as well. And then Brandon Ingram is third on the team with 14.7. His numbers are a little down last year, but it's basically on par. If you look at his 36 minutes per average, I mean, he's a little lower than last year. But, it's something I wouldn't say is too big of a worry yet. He is 22, so I do want to keep Brandon Ingram around. He is a restricted free agent, so we'll probably have to pay him to keep him in the offseason, but I'm willing to give him what he wants, I'm pretty sure. JJ Redick, I've noticed how I've been kind of a little down on him recently with his three-point percentage. He is shooting 13.5. You actually look at it, he's shooting better from 3 this year at 40%. His field goal percentage is down, his points per game average is down, but if you look at his 36 minutes, he's started some games, he's taken some games off, he hasn't played as much minutes. We've been trying to, space him out, keep him healthy for later in the season. So I wouldn't look at that as a distinction. He does have another year on his contract, which is another reason why I might want to move him, especially for blowing up the team. He is 35. There is no guarantee he's going to come back next year. So see if we can get something for him. So far, there really hasn't been many takers. But JJ Redick's probably doing better than I gave him credit for, so that's pretty good. Derek Favors, 9.9 points per game average, shooting 50%. His numbers are down besides his free throw percentage. Yeah, it's 36 minutes total, so not the best first year out in New Orleans. And obviously, I've mentioned he's a free agent. But I did take a look at the center class for this upcoming year. There's not many people better, and they all seem like they want to return. So the only big one is Andre Drummond in Detroit. He is going to be a free agent, and he's kind of leaning towards testing the waters. So not much chance for a center upgrade. And we also have Jackson Hayes, so something to keep an eye on. Maybe Derek Favors does come back next year. He is only 28, so we'll have to see. Julie look for next, 9.7 points, mostly off the bench, so that's pretty good. His field goal percentage is down, but I've liked what I've seen from Julie look for on the offensive end. I do think he could be a little better on the defensive end, but we'll have to see what happens with him. He seems like he wants out. And then Lonzo, 9.3 points. His numbers are way down. I'd like to see him maybe improve with those shooting percentages, but he's doing a pretty good job dishing the rock around for us. A couple other players out here. Etuan Moore's got 8. Nicola Melli's mostly falling out of the rotation. He's got 7. And we're going to take a look at rebounds now. Derek Favors the only player with double-digit rebounds, 10.5, followed by Zion. Assists, Lonzo Ball, 8.3, mentioned, one of the elite dishers in the league at the moment. Drew Holiday, 5.3. Steals would be Drew Holiday as well, 1.7. And Zion's got 1 point steals per game, so that's on line with Lonzo. So Zion's showing he's got some pretty good hands. Blocks per game, he does lead with 1.4. I mean, he's just, there's a reason why he's Zion Williams, the reason why he's number 1 pick. So we're obviously gracious to have him here in our team. Take a look at his team stats. We're obviously one of the bottom teams in the league. Points per game, we are the worst points per game team, 104.4 average, And our points allowed per game, we're dead middle in the league, sitting at 15th. which is a negative 7.8 differential, which isn't very good. It's one of the bottom. God, the Wizards 17.9. They're getting destroyed. Field goal percentage, I think we're a bottom team as well. Yep, sitting at 26 in the league in field goal percentage. 3 points, another bottom team. So we know what we need to improve on this year for next year. Free throw, we're pretty god awful from the free throw line. So we just have a trouble shooting the basketball. Excuse me. Last thing we'll take a look at, I guess, are the rookie reports. Zion is leading the league by points per game by a lot. Geez, so if he could just get more games, maybe he'll win Rookie of the Year. Let's see, look at rebounds. He also leads in rebounds, so this isn't a good sample size. So RJ Barrett is second with all that. So number 3 pick, looks like New York finally might have hit on somebody. Assists per game, John Morant, though, 6.3. So yeah, that's good for him. I see why he's Rookie of the Year over RJ Barrett in the voting right now with those stats, and he does lead the league also in steals. But Zion's got 1.4, and then Jared Culver out in Minnesota. So good to see some of these rookies making an impact on their teams. And that's going to wrap us up for this episode of the December recap. Next game, we'll be playing home against the Jazz. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps me a lot. And something I want to see is, leave something in the comments. Those who are watching the video, just what can I improve on? What suggestions you might have? I'm always welcome to hear. I'm still pretty young into this, and I want to improve. So just seeing what you guys like. I want to be able to interact with you guys, see what it is that, suggestions you might have and how I can incorporate them in. Next episode will be a college hoops episode. We're going to take a look at some of the top prospects in the 2020 draft. That episode will be out in a little bit. Those episodes usually take me a little longer to record. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget to hit that like button and hit subscribe for me. I will catch you guys next time. Have a great day.